best way to improve your videos. Music from Epidemic Sound. Find the perfect track for all your content in minutes and enjoy the best music and sound effects for creators. Start your 30-day free trial today.
Hey guys, real quick, let me give you a tip on an amazing Black Friday deal. Right now, Udemy courses are on sale for up to 85% off while the sale is going on. You can learn just about anything with Udemy at their lowest prices this season, so click your tab, find the course that's right for you. Udemy is a big online learning platform with video courses in thousands of topics from IT to marketing to development to how to make video games. And it's not just videos, like a lot of their courses offer practice exercises and quizzes and Q&A, so you're not just watching, you're
Hi everyone, today I have a video on tips for sub 35 on McMix. I average 33 right now, so I've been sub 35 for a while, and I think my cells have changed quite a bit since the sub 40 video where I averaged 36. Just like the previous videos and the best tips that I released in these videos, I will split into 4 mods, one for the star, one for F2O, one for S2O, and one for last layer. With that, let's get into the tips. For the star, you should continue to improve your ability to track F2O pieces while solving your star pieces, just as I mentioned in the sub 45 and sub 40 video. There's no difference being able to solve this case, and it's very solved, just knowing what two future pieces are can help even if they're far apart. One thing that I've been doing for my stars in the last video is saying the last game that I plan to do out loud during inspection. This helps me maintain my focus on longer sessions like
Ay,
that.
de vaselina.
Sometimes make me forget some things unless I emphasize them. For
Sorry.
the F2O, most of my improvement came from using
No,
information solutions. I don't have a full list of these solutions, but the basic idea for improving them is to do as few moves as possible to turn two F2O pieces into a solved pair, or
Oye, ¿te llevaste tus audífonos?
replace them with fewer than just simply put the
¿Que no ya me los ibas a dejar? ¿Que no ya me los ibas a dejar?
because those solutions are
Pues eso entendí.
efficient methods instead of being used. They have true features that Netflix keeps improving over and over. Now
Está bien.
let's demonstrate some examples of more efficient solutions. When you switch
Este.
from a linear and
Ahorita no importa.
one of my favorite features to use are to override particularly and insert recurves from one of the two views you might, which generally require recurves. So what you can do instead is something like a bar and insert here this. If you're not comfortable using VL, so you can do something like bar PR into that insert. For this next example, you have the color here and the edge back here.
Estoy grabando,
To
pero.
split the edge evenly into a
¿Cuándo qué?
rectangle piece. Instead, you can use either PR2 prime and R prime to insert. For this last example, we have the color here and the edge back here. You can do a PR2 prime to bring the edge to the corner. Then to pair them up, you would have to recurve something like this, which is very good. So there are two ways you can do these paired in a more efficient
Awful.
If you want to achieve better results, make a great impression, and save time at work, you should get Grammarly. With Grammarly, it's like I have my own personal editor on every email or message or essay that I write, and it's free to download. Before I got Grammarly, I could sense that people didn't understand what I was trying to communicate in my emails. I was too wordy. Now, I get my point across clearly. I catch embarrassing grammar and spelling errors before I hit send.
I'm very straightforward, so the tone suggestions help me make sure that I'm not unintentionally coming across too harsh.
I got Grammarly. It took 2 minutes to set up, and instantly I could see it making my writing better everywhere I type. It helps me make my messages clear and crisp, and just overall more effective. Imagine what would happen if everything you wrote was a little bit better. All those small improvements really add up over time.
If you don't have Grammarly, try it for free today.
No. Like 5 second video. What the fuck?
This video was made possible by Brilliant, an online platform for math and science that makes learning fun and rewarding. If I had a chance to talk to my 20-year-old self, I'd tell myself this: learn to trust yourself. If you learn to trust yourself and develop faith in your own abilities to solve your own problems, you'll feel at home wherever you are in the world. I don't think there's a greater prize in life than faith in your own capacities to survive and thrive. It's of inestimable value. And the younger me would probably ask how. How do I learn to trust myself? The Royal Society has a motto, Nullius in verba, which roughly translates to take nobody's word for it. Take nobody's word for it. That's what I would tell myself. Not even my own. Verify all try to disprove them. And as you disprove your own beliefs, eventually you'll stumble upon a belief that you can't disprove, try as you might. And as your list of unshakable beliefs grows, you'll develop a trust in yourself that's not naive. You'll trust yourself not because you choose to, but because it's the inevitable byproduct of not being able to disprove yourself. I would tell myself to ask questions, propose answers, and falsify those answers. I would tell myself to destroy all my precious beliefs, because the truth needs no protection. Only those beliefs which can crack under pressure carry the potential of being valuable diamonds. Here's an example. Vanessa struggles with focus, so she states her problem in the form of a question. Why can't I focus? She gives herself an answer. I have a medical condition. So she goes to the doctor to get checked on, and the doctor tells her everything is fine. So that answer is, in theory, disproven. So she states another answer. I can't focus because of external distractions. So she starts to eliminate noise from the background, take away distracting items, and go to the library if she needs to. This works for a bit, but eventually she finds herself getting distracted by her own thoughts. So again, she disproves her last theory. It's not just external distractions that are stopping her from focusing. So she comes up with another answer. I can't focus because of external and internal distractions. So she sorts out these internal distractions, something I talked about doing in another video. Link in the description if you want to check it out. And she finally achieves the level of focus she wants. Her working theory, that she hasn't been able to disprove yet, is that focus occurs when external and internal distractions are fully eliminated. And she has individual processes for eliminating these distractions. And she develops a trust in her abilities to focus when she needs to, because she's gained reliable insight to the workings of her own mind. So Vanessa goes through a process of asking herself a question, coming up with an answer, and trying to disprove that answer. Going through this cyclical process allows her to discover valuable insights about the world and herself. And Vanessa continues this process for other areas of her life too, figuring out what foods are best for her to eat, what workouts are good, what she should study in university, so on and so forth. And slowly she learns to trust her own abilities to navigate through the world and accomplish the goals she sets for herself. This question-answer falsification process may seem tedious, but I think it's necessary, because it's really the only way Vanessa can develop her abilities to successfully navigate through the world on her own. And I'd leave my younger self with this. I know you want directions. You want the exact turns, left, right, left, that are going to get you where you want to go. You want the tactic, or the book recommendation, or the app, or the step-by-step system that's going to get you to where you want to go. But directions only work if someone knows your exact starting point and your exact ending point. You'll mostly never get good directions in life. Then you might become more sophisticated, and instead of looking for directions, you'll begin looking for a map of the territory, so you can guide yourself from your starting point to your ending point. The thing is, all maps eventually become false. If you wait long enough, even the mountains and the oceans move. So you may find a good map, but all maps eventually become false and unreliable. In the end, what you were searching for was a compass, something that can always point you to true north. And this compass is inside of you, but it needs to be calibrated. Get to work calibrating it as soon as you can. That way you can always find out where you need to go based on where you are. If you can do that, you don't need any other advice. But nullius in verba. Don't take my word for it. Verify it for yourself. The methods discussed in this essay are, essentially, a version of the scientific method. And if you want to learn more about the scientific method, I highly recommend checking out this week's sponsor, Brilliant. Brilliant is an interactive learning platform built off a very simple yet effective principle. You learn best while solving problems in real time. Brilliant gets you hands-on to help you learn by doing. You'll solve problems and interact with visual examples, and with some struggle along the way, you'll be rewarded by learning something new. In one of their newest courses, Scientific Thinking, you can learn to see the world like a scientist, explore the laws of physics and the principles of engineering, and learn the rules as you play. There will be plenty of surprises along the way, but by the end, you'll have gained the understanding and insight to look at the world in a different way. Join a community of over 8 million learners today by going to www.brilliant.com Thanks for watching.
I'll see you next time.
Doctor García, esto es Exceso de Humo, un podcast original de Amazon Music.
When I was 6 years old, I received my gift. My first grade teacher
Mm.
had this brilliant idea. She wanted us to experience receiving gifts, but also learning the virtue of complimenting each other. So she had all of us come to the front of the classroom, and she bought all of us gifts and stacked them in the corner. And she said, "Why don't we just stand here and compliment each other? Do you hear your name called? Go and pick up your gifts and sit down." What a wonderful idea, right? What could go wrong? Well, there were 40 of us to start with, and every time when I hear someone's name called, I would give out the heartiest cheer. And then there were 20 people left, and 10 people left, and 5 left, and 3 left. I was one of them. And the compliments stopped. Well, at that moment, I was crying. And the teacher was freaking out. And she was like, "Hey, would anyone say anything nice about these people?" No one? Okay, why don't you go get your gift and sit down, so behave next year, someone might say something nice about you. Well, as I'm describing this to you, you probably know I remember this really well. But I don't know who felt worse that day. Was that me or the teacher? She must have realized that she turned a team building event into a public roast for 3 6-year-olds. And without the humor, when you see people get roasted on TV, it was funny. There was nothing funny about that day. So that was one version of me. And I would die to avoid being in that situation again, to get rejected in public again. That's one version. Then fast forward 8 years, Bill Gates came to my hometown, Beijing, China, to speak. And I saw his message. I fell in love with that guy. I thought, wow, I know what I want to do now. That night, I wrote a letter to my family, telling them by age 25, I will build the biggest company in the world. And that company will buy Microsoft. I totally embrace this idea of conquering the world, domination, right? And I didn't know I can make this up. I did write that letter. And here it is. No, but you don't have to read this through. And this is also bad handwriting, but I did highlight some keywords. You get the idea. So that was another version of me, wanting to conquer the world. Well, then 2 years later, I was presented with the opportunity to come to the United States. I jumped on it, and because that was where Bill Gates lived, right? So I thought that was the start of my entrepreneur journey. Then fast forward another 14 years, I was 30. Nope, I didn't build that company. I didn't even start. I was actually a marketing manager for a Fortune 500 company. And I felt I was stuck. I was stagnant. Why is that? Where's that 14-year-old who wrote that letter? It's not because he didn't try. It's because every time I had a new idea, every time I wanted to try something new, even at work, I wanted to make a proposal, I wanted to speak up in front of people in a group, I felt there was this constant battle between the 14-year-old and the 6-year-old. One wanted to conquer the world, make a difference. Another was afraid of rejection. And every time, that 6-year-old won. And this fear even persisted after I started my own company. I mean, I started my own company when I was 30. If you want to be Bill Gates, you got to start sooner or later, right? When I was an entrepreneur, I was presented with an investment opportunity. And then I was turned down. And that rejection hurt me. It hurt me so bad that I wanted to quit right there. But then I thought, hey, would Bill Gates quit after a simple investment rejection? Would any successful entrepreneur quit like that? No way. And this is where it clicked for me. Okay, I can build a better company. cannot
bueno.
let that 6-year-old keep dictating my life anymore. I have to put him back in his place. So this is where I went online for help. Google was my friend. I searched, how do I overcome the fear of rejection? I came up with a bunch of psychology
I saw
articles
the
about where the
29.
fear and pain are coming from. Then I came up with a bunch of rah-rah inspirational articles about don't take it personally, just overcome it. Who doesn't know that? But why was I still so scared? Then I found this website by luck. It's called rejectiontherapy.com. Rejection therapy was this game invented by this Canadian entrepreneur. His name is Jason Conley. And this basic idea is for 30 days, you go out and look for rejection. And every day you get rejected at something, and by the end, you desensitize yourself from the pain. And I love that idea. I said, you know what, I'm going to do this, and I'll film myself getting rejected in 100 days. And I'll came up with my own rejection ideas, and I'll make a video blog out of it. And so here's what I did. This is what the blog looked like. Day one. Borrow $100 from stranger. So this is where I went to where I was working. I came downstairs and saw this big guy sitting behind the desk. You know, he looked like a security guard. So I just approached him, and I was just walking, and that was the longest walk in my life. I was just hair in the back of my neck standing up. I was sweating. My heart was pounding. And I got there and I said, hey, sir, can I borrow $100 from you? And he looked up. He's like, no. Why? And I said, no, I'm sorry. Then I turned around and just ran. I felt so embarrassed. But because I filmed myself, so that night I was watching myself get rejected. I just saw how scared I was. I looked like this kid in Sixth Sense. I saw dead people. But then I saw this guy. He wasn't that menacing. He was probably a lovable guy, you know. And he even asked me why. In fact, he invited me to explain myself. And I could have said many things. I could have explained. I could have negotiated. I didn't do any of that. All I did was run. I felt, wow, this is like a microcosm of my life. Every time I feel the slightest rejection, I would just run as fast as I could. And you know what? The next day, no matter what happens, I'm not gonna run. I'll stay engaged. Day 2, request a burger refill. This is where I finished, went to a burger joint and finished lunch, and I went to the cashier and said, hey, can I get a burger refill? And he was all confused. I'm like, what's a burger refill? I said, well, just like a drink refill, but what's a burger? And he said, sorry, we don't do burger refill, man. So this is where rejection happened. I could have run, but I stayed. I said, well, I love your burger, I love your joint, and if you guys do burger refill, I would love you guys more. And he said, well, okay, I'll tell my manager about it, but maybe we'll do it, but sorry, we can't do this today. Then I left. And by the way, I don't think they ever done burger refill. I think they're still there. But the life and death feeling I was feeling the first time was no longer there. Because I stayed engaged. Because I didn't run. I said, wow, great. I'm already learning things. Great. And then day 3, getting Olympic donuts. This is where my life was turned upside down. I went to a Krispy Kreme. It's a donut shop mainly in the southeastern part of the United States. I'm sure they have some here too. And I went in and said, can you make me donuts that look like Olympic symbols? Basically, you interlink 5 donuts together. I mean, there's no way they could say yes, right? The donut maker took me so seriously. So she put out paper, started jotting down colors and rings. It's like, how to make this? And then 15 minutes later, she came out with a box that looked like Olympic rings. And I was so touched. And I just couldn't believe it. And that video got over 5 million views on YouTube. The world couldn't believe that either. And, and because of that, I was on newspapers, talk shows, and everything, and I became famous. A lot of people started writing emails to me and saying, what you're doing is awesome. But fame and notoriety did not do anything to me. What I really want to do was learn and to change myself. this research project. I want to learn, see what I can learn. And then I learned a lot of things. I discovered so many secrets. For example, I found if I just do one, if I got rejected, I could actually turn no into yes. And the magic word is why. So one day I went to a stranger's house, I had this flower in my hand, and I said, knock on the door, said, hey, can I plant this flower in your backyard? And he said no. But before he could leave, I said, hey, can I know why? And he said, well, I have this dog in that would dig up anything I put in the backyard. I don't want to waste your flower. If you don't do this, go across the street and talk to Connie.